I could make it home. So, anyways, we there goes the sound. I just heard it come in my ear. So you successfully fixed the sound there, Chuck. Very good. Um, so what was? Oh yeah. So concern is that the delays for bikes is can be long, but luckily. Good relationship with Freewheel Cycle here in Dundas, and they saw me today. And new chain, um, and the twisted chain when it fell off, it made a change to the derailleur hanger, and so they tuned me up and fixed me up, and now I'm back on the road. So maybe I'll get another ride in tomorrow if the weather cooperates, and add just a few more kilometers to my August numbers. So I'm back on the road after a brief mechanical. So all things the same. It's pretty good, and glad to hear you're feeling better. The treatment, hopefully, it gives you a long time of improved comfort, and you're feeling good. I'll send it back to you so you can pick up some of the other folks behind me, and I'll stick around and listen along for the duration of the HRNCA back to Net Control.
All right, all right. Since we just finished talking about um, the hurricane, I thought I'd ask the question of the evening alongside that. Have you ever been in a major weather event? I know I was in Edmonton when there was a tornado. I could. I was working in the carnival at the time, setting up at the Edmonton Klondike Days, I think it was, and we had quite a bit of damage. And luckily, nothing major, and so no one was hurt. But let us know if you've been involved or close to tornado, hurricane, typhoon, what have you. And obviously, you've lived through to to tell us about it. So, anyways, how about you there? Have you been close to some wild weather before I let you go, Wade?
I'm trying to think. Nothing really serious, thankfully. There have been some pretty wild storms before, and I have been caught in a quick sort of sleet type of rainstorm in the middle of a canoe on a canoe trip. In the middle of a lake on a canoe trip once or twice, and that was a bit dicey at times, but obviously made it through. But no, luckily nothing really severe like hurricanes or tornadoes or such. Maybe the closest thing was having family in Barrie during the big
Oh yeah.
tornado there. At the time, I was living in Newmarket, so not far from Barrie, and we had friends and family in Barrie. They were all okay, but that was maybe the closest brush with something like that. Looking for some wood to touch because I wouldn't want to have to deal with it. I know many people have, so and are at the moment. So I got to say, luckily, nothing really severe, and so hopefully it's the same for most people here. Back to you, Chet.
Okay, very good then. All right. Yeah, I was so it took me a long time to make the on this day list today, and I kept trying to figure out something to add as a question of the night, but completely went over my head. I forgot all about it. So, anyways, if anybody else has a subject they'd like to touch on, please, by any means, throw it out there. So, with that, we'll clear with Wade, VA3NCA, and I'd like to say hello to Michael out in Arkansas, KI5SPA, Kilo India 5, Sierra Papa Alpha. Did you get part of the storm there, Michael? Um, and let us know. And as well, I'd like to acknowledge Bill, VE3 India United Kilo. He is saying hello on the YouTube live stream. For those of you just joining us, if you'd like to hear us on the YouTube stream, because this is a Simplex Net, you may not be able to hear everyone. So just put in VA3CJZ in the YouTube search, and you can find us there live at the moment. Okay. And so with that, let's go to VE3JGK. Gary, come on in.
Good evening, all. Thanks for taking my check-in. Not really much to say. I've been lucky to never have been in a significant weather event other than maybe a very strong day and a half blizzard when I was growing up that had us housebound for several days. But back then, that was a almost once a winter occurrence, so people didn't think about it too much. And luckily, we never lost power, so it wasn't that big a deal. Just stay home and miss a day or two of school, which when you're at that age group is a nice thing. We'll be listening on the side, and have a good evening, all. The E3JGK.
Okay, very good, Gary. Great signal tonight, good audio. And so I do thank you for taking the time out to check in with us. Yeah, when people think of a severe weather event, a lot of people don't think about snow. I mean, just this past winter out in the northern part of the U.S., there in the West, they were getting like what 17 feet of snow or something crazy like that up in the hills in the mountains there. So, geez, I thought I had it rough growing up in the Ottawa, Quebec uh, area as a kid. We've had a few doozies, mind you. But anyways, yeah, there's also snow events. All right, so we'll clear with Gary, VE3JGK. And let's say hello to Paul, VE3 Impatient PDL. Come on in, Paul.
Yeah, well, nobody accused me of being a doctor, I don't have patience. Anyway, just a bean for the pot there, Chuck. I've been negligent and missed a few of the nets recently there, so wanted to make sure I made it in here this evening. So, doing a good job as always, my friend. V3PDL.
All right there, Paul. Very good. And by the way, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you a belated happy birthday. I know I sent you a quick birthday greeting on Facebook there, but this is the day after. So if anybody wants to give the bumps to Paul there, uh, go right ahead. Any comments or anything towards Paul there? Go ahead now.
Oh, no. Anyway, thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it, sir. I'm still young. Got lots of years left.
Roger, Roger. All right. Anything new and exciting?
No, but on your weather topic, it rained over here, just to let you know, last night.
That's your severe weather event. Very good. Then I'm glad you survived.
Yeah, it was scary. I slept right through it. Didn't even notice until I went outside this morning and my back deck was wet. Titus! He's mad because I'm keying up the radio tonight instead of him.
Ah, yes, the old dog on the foot switch. Yep, it's not the first time. It won't be the last. Okay, Paul, sounds like you got some activity there. Remember to turn the volume back up there in a little bit and come back in.
I will endeavor to do so, sir. And greetings to one and all on the net there, the fellows before me and the ones to come after me. Hope everybody's having a good evening. All right, Chuck, I'll let you get back into the swing of things, sir. V3PDL, back to net control.
Okay, very good then. And I also heard someone trying to get in with Paul, or I heard something underneath there. Is there a check-in or a comment? Please come now.
Did I just hear a crow on the YouTube stream, V3RWJ?
Yes, sir. That is from my V10 live sound card. And I also have cheer, laugh, and clap.
Oh, nice. I'm not sure I want the clap, but no, that's pretty cool. All right, I'm just listening along. Please add me to the list, but I have no I have no news or traffic or anything. But thanks for doing the net.
Okay, Chris, very good. Thank you for checking in there, my friend. Every now and then we try and liven things up, and we'll throw some laughter, a laugh track in there, or a cheer or something like that. Or when somebody bombs, we usually put the crows in there. So, anyways, Chris, thanks again for joining us. How did you make out on your net this evening?
22 check-ins, so I won't get the crow with that. But yeah, eating crow, I get it. Yeah, 22, which is pretty good for this time of year. We're still, I guess, technically in summer.
Yes, sir. Yeah, technically we are. All right, that's great. Okay, Chris, we'll let you go for now. If you have any other comments, please jump in there anytime. All right, so let's switch over to my counter call sign, VE3 Zulu Juliet Charlie. Jason, come on in, buddy.
Good evening, Chuck, and everybody else on net. Everybody be funny today. In case anybody didn't pick it up, the humor is all about the bees and the millions of bees up in northern Burlington there this morning that fell off the back of a truck. No real traffic for me. Just sitting here playing on the radio and following along. For your weather question, the closest I ever came was I was a teenager down in Myrtle Beach on vacation with my parents, early teens, and we were trying to hold out against a hurricane, hoping that it would blow past us. It did not, so the hotel evicted everybody and said, get in your cars and go somewhere else. So we had to run away and head inland from, I don't even remember what hurricane it was, but it was impressive to watch even the pre-storm surge just literally eat the beach away. As soon as the heavy bands of rain started coming, like I said, they threw us out. That was the closest severe weather I've ever been involved in other than Canadian winters.
Right. So now you're reminding me of when I went to the States, I took a Greyhound from Windsor down to Florida, and or actually it was in Detroit. But nonetheless, a hurricane had just gone through the route that the bus was taking. And so we were finding stragglers that wanted a ride to town or what have you. I remember one place we were at, it was a Greyhound bus terminal, but all that was left was one wall and part of the word Greyhound, and everything else was just rubble. And so we picked a couple of guys there, and so we weren't in it, but we were right after it, and saw all the devastation, trees down on railroad tracks, telephone lines, and such. Yeah, so luckily we didn't get to feel it firsthand. All right, very good, Jason. Well, thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate you checking in and telling us about your weather event. Okay. Anything else?
Nope, nothing else from me. I will follow along on the side here. And yeah, fantastic start as always. Back to you.
All right. Very good, Jason. And so we have Michael, KI5 Sierra Papa Alpha. We asked him if he had gotten part of that hurricane in his path there. He is in Arkansas, but I believe it hit in the Panhandle, so I thought he might have gotten it there. He says no. And now everybody wants rain over there where he's at. That's always the case, right? Too much or too little. Okay, well, thank you, Michael. And so with that, let's go to, well, I already acknowledged VE3IUK. Hello, Bill, and welcome on YouTube. Hopefully we'll get you a bigger pizza plate there, and you'll be able to radiate out a little bit further soon enough. All right, so with that, let's see if anyone else is out there would like to join us here on the AREG net. That's Amateur Radio Exchange Group. I am your host tonight, VA3CJZ. My name is Chuck, and I'm here in East Hamilton, Ontario. Any new check-ins, please come now.
VA3 OYL.
V3FJJ.
Okay, I acknowledge OYL and FJJ. Let's bring in the lady tonight, VA3 Oscar Yankee Lima. Debbie, come on in.
Good evening, Chuck and all on frequency. What's going on here? I'm following Pierre around the bands for POTA. I'm making an antenna, a doublet for 17 meters, and I thought I better darn well check in here.
Oh, very good, very good. You thought of us. Yeah. I think tonight I made an announcement around 7:15 on the ZOE repeater. I might start doing that to let people know, and it's the best way to get the message across. I also type it on the Facebook AREG page. I don't know if you're a member there, Debbie, but on Facebook we have the AREG page there as well, and I usually type out an announcement there. So how's the doublet coming along?
Good. It's pretty well finished. I just have to put it on the check it out and see if it's resonant anywhere. And I have an 80 meter doublet up outside, but I want to put the 17 meter one up too. But I think I might put it vertical and see how I make out. That should be fun to try.
Yeah, okay, yeah, very good. Now's the time to start building stuff outside. I guess weather's going to be cooling off, but not until after next week. Apparently on the weekend, we're supposed to be getting into 30 plus temperatures. And so tonight they're calling for a low of 10. And tomorrow night they're calling for double that, or almost double, 19 for a low at night there. So it's going to get pretty warm for the next several days. And I think after that, they're calling for cooler temperatures for the fall. So good time to be going out there and doing antenna work and so on and so forth. So, all right, Deb, very good. Are you going to be sticking around with us tonight?
Yeah, and I'd just like to comment on the weather event. The only thing I can think of is the blizzard of 1977, that is. I was in Welland. I was in high school. No snow on the ground in the morning. I went to school in my running shoes. They let us out at lunchtime, and the snow was past my knees. So it was a fun time on the CB, meaning sarcastically, trying to help people out and direct people and direct snowmobilers here, there, and everywhere. It was interesting.
Oh, yeah. I know. I remember back in the day there during the CB days, and we'd, try and help people out. Either, people ran out of gas or needed a tow truck or what have you. No cell phones back then, right? So came in really handy. And let me tell you, we're all taking for granted all this tech that we have. But let me tell you, one day it's all going to come crashing down. And for some reason or another, not everything is foolproof. Like, we depend on electricity, but remember, we just celebrated that 30 or 20-year anniversary of the 2003 blackout, which affected millions in northeastern North America. So one day we won't have our cell phones. So it's good that we have amateur radio operators out there.
Yes, and I'd like to look into doing email over ham radio. that would be a handy thing to have, be able to send messages. And yeah, I have battery. I can work portable pretty good here, but yeah, it pays to be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you have just a handheld and maybe an extra battery or multiple extra batteries like I have. So yeah, uh, it's going to happen eventually. Maybe not over the whole world, but you know, it's better. It's like a lot of people say, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I don't know, that sort of mentality, right? Okay, Deb. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. And you know, well, you got short knees, so if the snow was up to your knees, that was only about 6 inches, seven. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and I had a light jacket on too. Okay, I'll let you carry on down the line and see who else is there.
Okay, very good, Deb. By the way, good signal tonight, as always. Let's go down to Flynn, or up to Flynn, because he's above me somewhere. VE3FJJ. Flynn, come on in.
Hey Chuck, how are you? Just thought I'd key up and throw a general check-in, see how things are going. Hopefully I sound a little different. I found out that there's something going wrong with the other mic, so I don't know how I'm sounding today.
Oh, very good audio tonight, Flynn. I forget what your signal is. I think it's an S8 there, so conditions are good tonight for sure.
Ah, perfect. Right on, right on. Yeah, I guess you'll check now and see what I'm hitting you at, probably about an S8 last night. All right, Chuck, well, I'll be sticking around so you can give me a check-in a little later on.
Okay, sure thing. Hey, listen, before you go, we're asking people if they've ever been close to or in a major weather event like the big hurricane they've got down in Florida right now.
Oh, well, I haven't. Pretty active weather, so I've seen a building get ripped off its foundation from a tornado warning.
Oh, wow, eh? Yeah, those winds, you don't see them, but you feel them for sure. Okay, Flynn. Well, thank you very much for that. Much appreciated for you taking the time out, checking in with us, and sharing that with us. And so let's see if anyone else is out there would like to join us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. Please come now.
Victor Alpha 3, X-ray Lima Juliet.
Okay, I got you in there, Vanya. Come on in. VA3XLJ. Are you portable?
No, I'm at home, so this is the best as I can give you from here. So, yeah, regarding the weather, not much. Regarding the check-in, it's gonna be the check-in and check-out. I'm gonna go upstairs and listen the duration of the net on a YouTube while I'm screaming at the kids to clean up and to go to sleep. So before I leave for my graveyard shift. So weather like I guess but not really. Like it's the only tornado which I didn't experience it, but I was there like 2 hours later. I was traveling on Highway 6 going to my my colleague at the time. He had the trailer up on past Fergus or somewhere up on Highway 6. Well, maybe it's not even Fergus, it's some name anyways. On Highway 6 little town, and tornado went there like maybe half an hour or an hour before we drove beside it, and I could see the thing in the fields and two couple of barns and a few other stuff. So that's the most wickedest of the weather what I've seen nature-wise.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's a good thing. You don't want to be in it for sure. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I was reading an article. Actually, it was on YouTube. I saw Joe Rogan had a guest on, and they were talking about this thing called mad honey. And one of the guys made a joke about if your kids don't want to go to sleep, give them a little bit of this honey, and it'll knock them out. Look it up on Google or YouTube. There, it's called mad honey. It's found in Nepal, and it's made by the largest bees in the world. And people say it gets you high, but it technically it gets you drunk because the bees pick up pollen from these certain flowers, and it creates uh, hallucinogenic and all kinds of you get high basically. And so that was one of the comments the guys made. The kids don't want to sleep. Feed them a little bit of that mad honey, and that'll knock them out. I remember when I had trouble sleeping, my father would give me a little shot of brandy, maybe a tablespoon, uh, and that would actually help me fall asleep. So it's not uncommon. All right, there, Vanya. Vanya, thanks for joining us, my friend. Do you have anything else before we let you go? And you can pick us back up on YouTube.
No, I gonna guys give you a 7-3, and I gonna go back upstairs and listen, and yeah, I keep applying fear, but I don't think it's working anymore. So so yeah, 7-3 guys, and till next Wednesday.
Okay, Vanya, very good then. Okay, before we carry on, I wanted to mention the upcoming Hamilton Amateur Radio Club Hamfest coming up, and that's in a month's time from now. Uh, it'll be on September 30th at the Hamilton Ancaster, the Ancaster Fairgrounds, not Hamilton. And that's 630 Trinity Road South, Jerseyville. Again, the 30th of September. I believe $5 to get in, $10 per table. Last I heard, they had over 71 tables already booked. So it should be a pretty good event. So try and clear your schedule for September 30th. Okay, and with that, let's go to contests now. Over here on the contestcalendar.com webpage, where I get all my information from. And first, we'll start off with the All Asian DX contest for the phone mode. And that is for 10 meters, 15, 20, 40, 80, and 160. So this is your chance to pick up Asian stations for those of you who don't have many or any at all. And so there you go. And then there's the Russian RTTY worldwide contest. And that's for 10, 15, 20, 40, and 80 in the RTTY mode. Next, we've got a CW contest called the CW Ops, CW Open, for 10 meters all the way up to 160 meters. Let's see. The next one is a weird one. Indexa, the Indexa Worldwide Contest. And that's for CW, phone, and RTTY. Now, it's for 10 meters all the way through to 160, but it goes on for several days. 00 Zulu time, September 2nd, to 2400 Zulu, September 10th. So for a week, at least there, good contest. It's worldwide. And so from 10, 15, 20, 40, 80, and 160, again for CW, phone, and RTTY. And then we have a Wake Up QRP Sprint, 5 watts maximum power for 20 and 40 meters, but that's on CW only. Next, we've got the South African Relay League Field Day Contest. Now, I tried to look up the rules and the contest rules, but the South African Radio League website would not open for some reason. So I'll pass this info along here. It's for digital, single sideband, and CW. Again, 10 meters all the way through to 160. Okay, and that goes on for a little bit longer, around 24 hours, I think. All right, the next one is the Colorado QSO party. So that'll be on 1300 Zulu, September 2nd to 0400 Zulu, September 3rd. Next, we've got the IARU Region 1 Field Day. Geographic focus is Europe, participation worldwide, 10 meters all the way up to 160. And then next we have the RSGB Single Sideband Field Day. 1300 Zulu, September 2nd to 1300 Zulu, September 3rd. 10, 15, 20, 40, and 80 meters for sideband. And then the IARU Region 1 145 megahertz contest. So now they also have the 2 meter. And that's, participation only Europe, it says here. Geographic focus, Europe. Interesting. All right, finally, let's go with the PODXS 070 Club J Hudak Memorial 80 meter sprint. So 80 meters only, and that's for PSK 31. Okay, well, that's all I have for upcoming contests in the next for the next week. If you have any questions or are curious about them, just go to the website. Contestcalendar.com. Does anyone have any upcoming events or any information that they would like to pass along? Please come now. This is VA3CJZ. All right. Nothing heard. So let's see. What else did I have here? Oh, yeah, it's a little bit coolish outside right now, 16.8 degrees. And like I mentioned, it's supposed to go down to a chilly 10 at the coldest point tonight. Let's see if we have anyone else up there that'd like to join us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3CJZ. Please come now.
Victor Alpha 3, Mike Romeo Bravo.
Victor Echo 3, November Whiskey.
Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Kilo Zulu.
Okay, I've got 4 stations there. I've got MRB. The second station was kind of doubling with another station there. But I'll tell you what I have. I've got MRB, NW, and CKZ. Who's the other station? All right, then. Well, let's start with what we have. And that's Victor Alpha 3, Mike Romeo Bravo. Come on in, Mike. I'd just like to remind everyone that continuous jamming will cost you a lot of money. I read an article where a gentleman was just recently charged, lost all his equipment, and had to pay an $83,000 fine for intentional jamming. So there are ways to find you and report you. You certainly don't want that to happen. So let's carry on with this evening's AREG net without any further interruption. Victor Alpha 3, Mike Romeo Bravo.
Good to see that, Phil. That nice blue moon tonight. Back to you.
Hey, that's right. Tonight is the blue moon. And so that'll be nice to see some pictures. Maybe on CHCH on the morning news there, they might show us some nice photos of that. And I'm sure we'll see them online as well there. Thanks for reminding us there, Mike.
Oh, you're welcome, Chuck. Okay, well, I'm going to listen. Pardon me for that. I'm listening to the net while I drive, and I need to make a check-in here tonight. It's been a while since I've done it. So we'll be on the side. Victor Alpha 3, Mike Radio Bravo Mobile. Back to net control.
Okay, very good, Mike. Victor Alpha 3, Mike Radio Mobile. Again, for those of you who can't hear some stations, just go to YouTube and put in VA3CJZ, and you'll find a slider at the bottom. It's currently 8:47 p.m. You can move the slider wherever you like. There is a clock also that I have time stamped onto the screen, and you can listen to people that you can't hear through the radio as well. All right, so let's go to VE3 November Whiskey. Arpad, come on in.
Hello, Chuck. Good evening to you. This is Victor Echo 3 November Whiskey from the scooter, listening to the Bluetooth. And you guys coming in loud and clear. I'm located by Red Hill, right on the top of the mountain, just on the way home from the park where I was playing shortwave radio. I made a nice loop antenna, 100 feet long wire, and 30-meter band was coming perfect fine. That would be roughly about, 10 megahertz or so. And I think I'm going to use full loop antennas in the future. Back to you, Chuck.
Oh, full loop. Not a full wave, though, right? Is it a half wave?
No, it's a full wave. Yeah, it's a 100 feet wire. You make a nice loop. And I bought some adapters, which looks like those little banana adapters, so you can loop it around, put it on the top of the bush or on the trees or somewhere, try to make a loop. And actually, it's working very well. Next time I go to bring my SWR analyzer to see where is that resonating exactly at. But yeah, it seems to be working very well. And yeah, it's a full wave. Like if you have a 100 feet long wire, like an 18 gauge or so, then you make a nice loop. That would give you the 31 meter bend as a full wave.
Wow. Okay. Very good then. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, if you're not doing 80 meters, otherwise you're looking at 260 something feet, I think, for a full wave 80 meter. But yeah, very good. Absolutely. Yeah. For the lower bands there, definitely can do. Yeah. That was actually my very first antenna was a loop Skyburner. That my neighbor VE3 WKG lent me and put it out in my backyard. Got to see how it was made, and I can make my own now after that. So thank you, Kevin, if you're listening. Okay, Arpad. So you're coming in great tonight. You're at full strength there.
Yeah, roger that. And actually you can attach these wires together basically. So you can make it as big as you want. At the place where I go, there's nobody ever there. And you can just put it on the top of the bush around. And the whole place is yours. So you can make it as long as you want, 80 meters. I don't transmit on it, but for receiving, I did order a new radio. Cost $160. So should be here about next month sometimes, in a couple of weeks.
All right. Yep. Going to be early Christmas for our pad. Okay, my friend, you're doing an excellent job from your location there, and I do want to thank you for checking in. And do you have anything else for us?
Not that much, and yeah, I'm just up on the top of the mountain using the rubber ducky antenna, and I'm glad you can hear me, and hopefully some guys can hear me as well. And yeah, actually, this handheld does have a Bluetooth built into it, so I linked it up to my one of these
Oh,
AirPod Pro, whatever they call them, those little things, and actually it's working very well when I ride in the scooter, so I don't have to listen with big volume. 73, and thank you very much. I'm going to be going down the hill.
okay. Yep. You're going to need both hands on the wheel. Keep your hands and feet inside the scooter at all times and enjoy the ride, my friend. Thanks again for checking in. So we'll clear it with VE3 November Whiskey. So let's see who else is out there would like to join us. Actually, no, we've got Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Kilo Zulu. Chris, is that you? Come on in.
Yeah, hi, Chuck, and everybody on the net tonight. Hope everybody's doing well. Nice, cool night. Almost reminds you of September, which is getting pretty close now. It's the 30th of August. But just an answer to your question there earlier, a number of years ago up on the Big Lake Superior, my uncle and I were camping in a small canvas type camper, and we had a storm coming off of Lake Superior. Darn near blew the camper off the wheels. Over.
Oh dear, yeah, yeah. That's like when we went camping in Algonquin Park, and we actually did backpacking camping, and so we went on a what was it, 7 day hiking, and one of the nights we were in a small tent, and it felt like there was someone. It was so windy that it felt like there was someone outside the tent pushing down on it because the material was almost right up to our faces. It was blowing so hard there, and those little fiberglass poles were bending pretty good. So yeah, that wind is pretty strong sometimes. All right. Well, thanks for checking in, my friend, and sharing that story with us. Anything else, sir?
No, that's it for tonight. Just wanted to check in and jump on for a bit. I haven't been on for quite some time, and it's just good to get back on again for a while. Anyway, VA3 CKZ. I'll be listening for the balance of the evening. Thanks. Good night.
Okay, very good then, Chris. Thanks again for checking in, sir. And just to let you and everyone else listening know that next week, please join us next week also. It'll be the 30-year anniversary that AREG has been on the air once a week. And so we'd like to get a whole bunch of check-ins for next week as well. I am going to call the founder of this net. His name is John Sims. His call is VE3 Juliet Sierra Uniform. And he no longer lives in Hamilton. He's in Manitouwadge, Ontario, retired. And that is why I have taken up the torch on his behalf and continuing on the AREG legacy. And so please join us next week. And also tonight, if you'd like, we are streaming on YouTube. You can join us there by putting in VA3CJZ in the YouTube search, and you can listen to us there live. Also, we have a webpage on Facebook. Just type in A-REG, AREG, and a radio with a green face will come on and say AREG 146.430, an amateur radio site. You can join us there as well. We usually post very informative posts, nothing that really doesn't pertain to radio. We like to keep it at that. And a lot of people post up their recent um, awards that they've gotten from POTA, for example. I know the POTA fever has caught on in North America like the wildfires have. And so only it's in a good sense, not in a bad sense. So it's very popular, and a lot of people are into it. I got a hold of Pierre tonight. Um, Before I started the net, I was only able to get him on one band on 20 meters, but we got him in there. And so I don't know where Pierre is right now. Probably POTA. He's POTA-ing away, I am sure. Okay, so we'll clear with VA3 CKZ. Let's see if anyone else is out there who'd like to join us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3 CJZ. Please come now.
VA3 COF.
Victor Echo 3, Charlie.
Okay, I heard two stations there. I heard VA3 COF, Damien, and VE3 Charlie Echo Uniform, Tomas. Let's say hello to Damien. Come on in, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Chuck. Thanks for doing the net. And yeah, don't have much traffic tonight. Just relaxing, listening along for a bit of the net. Really enjoying it.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, Damien. And as usual, we will be a little bit later on doing the On This Day in History facts and trivia kind of deal. Historical facts. Yeah, that's it. It's quite a bit of fun to research it. And I've been getting a lot of good feedback from the people that are listening to it. And so we look forward to doing that as well. Okay, Damien, anything else, sir, for us? You're check-in number 17 tonight.
No, nothing else. Thank you. Over.
Okay, very good then. So we'll clear with Damien. Great signal, by the way, over here by the center mall. Full strength, of course. VA3COF. And let's say hello to Tomas. VE3 Charlie Echo Uniform. Come on in.
Good evening, Chuck, and everybody else on that here. VA3CJZ, VE3CU, getting you tonight on a full scale not repeater, but regular waves here. And we're trying to get a hold of you on the handheld, but unfortunately the handheld, I guess, wasn't able to reach you tonight there, but at least I can get a hold of you on the good old EASU FT817. Yeah, everything else is good at this end. Just wanted to pop in and say hello.
All right, very good then, Thomas. Geez, your audio is just blasting. Good old Yazoo radio. Where's PDL there? Yeah, I've got the cousin, the Yazoo 857, and so great little radio. And thanks for checking in, Thomas. Question of the night is: have you been in or near a major weather event, sort of like what's happening in Florida with the big hurricane? Have you been through something of that nature?
Not of that nature. I think the worst storm or weather related that I've ever been involved with, that was the worst in my life, was the blizzard of '77 when I was living in Ridgeway, Ontario. That's pretty much the worst I've ever seen in my entire life. But other than that, just the regular rainstorms and thunderstorms, everything pretty much the same. But nothing recently.
You are the second person tonight to mention the blizzard of '77. And so I was not in Hamilton at that time. I was in another city, but I've heard all about it.
Yeah, I remember coming off from school that day it started. What do we have, 6 or 8 feet of snow? And I remember being on a school bus, and
the school bus driver. The bus stalled out, couldn't go any farther, and he says, "Okay, everybody, you're going to have to find shelter." And we all went out, and I mean, it was a small town, and luckily, we all found shelter. But yeah, it was it's something to remember for sure, especially when you're not you're staying overnight at somebody's stranger's house that lets you in.
Yeah, for sure. Not like nowadays. Some people would probably want to dig a hole in the snow rather than to go knock on someone's door. But that's unfortunate, mind you. But yeah, back in those days when you got a snow day, it was for a good reason. Today you get 3 inches of snow on the ground and they close up everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot different back then than it is now. So, yeah. Other than that, not much else at this end. I'm still working away with the bus, and starting next week, I'm going to be working afternoon shift. So, well, actually midday shift. So I'll probably end up taking my radio with me in the bus. I'll be near the end of the shift when the AREG is on. So I'll make sure I keep my ears out for that day for sure next week.
All right. Yeah, that's right. Next week is the 30-year anniversary. So if you can't make it with the radio, you can maybe give us a quick check in on the YouTube and we'll add you to the check in list through the YouTube. Yeah, we're expecting a large crowd and hopefully that'll be the case. Either way, it's still not going to change anything. It still is going to be the 30-year anniversary, whether we get many or not. So, anyways, Tom, thank you very much for taking the time out and checking in with us. And I know you're probably getting near the horizontal time for yourself for the night. So you have a great rest of the week, sir. And we'll hope to catch you down the log.
73 Chuck, I'll be listening along for the next, probably next less than a half an hour, and then I'll be out for the night.
Out for the night. Okay, very good then. All right. So let's see. Anyone else out there wishing to check in with us here on the AREG Net? That's Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3 CJZ looking for check-ins. All right. Well, that brings us to the top of the list, and let's check in with Mac. I never did get to ask him the weather event question of the day. VA3IMW, are you there?
Well, Chuck or Roger or whoever you want to be called right now, yes, I'm here, and you gave me lots of time to work through 40 and 20 meters and clear the slate for the POTA, so there's a lot of good contacts out there. And the question of the day, extreme weather conditions. I'm going to tell you, I do have fond memories of the storm of 77. Because my friend and I were going to go home to my place for lunch. So we were still riding our bikes to school. And we rode to my place. Well, we rode halfway back. And the snow started. And it came down so hard and fast that we had to walk our bikes the second half of the way to my house. And obviously, as we finished lunch and went to look out the front window, there was no way where we were going back. So, yeah, as I recall, my entire family got stranded at various places. My dad was down at Westinghouse. My mom was in an office on Upper James. She went home with her sister-in-law. And my sister ended up being stranded downtown. She was working.
at the HSR office down there, so she bunked down with a workmate. So, as you can well imagine, a young fellow with his CB radio in his bedroom, and yes, we had a good old time between CB antics and going outside and pushing cars around just for fun. But yeah, that was the extent of that. But other than that, there was a particular week that I was down in Lima, Ohio on business, and there was some storm system that came through, and I guess it was the tail end of something coming up from the Atlantic seaboard, and I was hell-bent and determined to come home, but I fought torrential rainstorms, winds in order to get home on that Friday evening. So other than that, I do recall being in Boston on a summer holidays, and I think it was when Katrina came in, and we had to cut our holidays short because Katrina, the aftermath of Katrina, came up through the New England states, and gas prices shot up and all the rest of the stuff. Anyways, that's all about me. So yes, weather is definitely very much a part of our lives. It has been for a long time. And if you subscribe to the climate change thing, shame on you.
Yes. Don't get me started. Okay, very good then, Mac. So you're number 3 tonight with a confirmation of 1977. Very good. I was in my senior high school year, and I was in Ottawa, I believe, at the time. And I don't remember any special event back then. Mind you, I've got parts parts of my early life where don't remember a lot. I don't know why, but could have been from all that partying. But I do remember when I got off the road from traveling in 1990 and came back to Hamilton and met my lovely wife. We worked at the Royal Connaught Hotel. I'm sure many of you either know someone who has worked there or knows someone that knows someone. Same thing with E.D. Smith. Seems like everyone knows someone that worked at E.D. Smith or at the Royal Connaught Hotel. Anyways, I do remember that my wife, well, back then she wasn't my wife, but while she worked at the hotel, and she would close up the restaurant in the evening and had to come back in the morning when there was a big storm and they were closing down the mountain access quite regularly back then. That's in the early 90s. They would give her a room at the hotel, and anyone else who had to go up the mountain and couldn't really easily make it up there. So, yeah, they used to close the mountain access quite a bit. They don't do that very much now anymore. I wonder what they did to fix the roads, I think, the pavement. I'm not sure, but you don't hear about the closures as often as it used to be in the early 90s from my memory. Anyways, let's do one more call out before we start on this day in history. Let's do one more call out and see who else would like to join us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group, AREG. My call is Victor Alpha 3 Charlie Juliet Zulu, and my name is Chuck, and I'm here in the east of Hamilton. Any new check-ins, please come now. Okay, nothing heard. So let's start off then with on this day. And what else did I want to mention? Is there anything else? No. Okay. So let's start off with today's famous birthdays, and we'll start with the year 1334. Peter the Cruel was born on this day. Did you have to be a king to have a nickname back in the old days? Zorba the Greek, Peter the Cruel, and so on and so forth. Anyways, he was born in 1334, and he is a Spanish king of Castile and Leon, born in Burgos, Spain. Don't ask me why I put that in there. It's only because of his cool name. Peter the Cruel. I'm guessing he wasn't a nice king. All right, let's go on to Mary Shelley, born on this day in 1797. She is the English novelist who wrote the book Frankenstein. And she was born in London. Now, there's a debate whether it was her or her ex-husband, but we'll go with her. All right. Next, in 1906, today, a lady by the name of Rose or Joan Blondell. She's an American actress, and she was in the movie Grease, as well as The Blue Veil, and many others. She was born in New York City, New York, died in 1979. Joan Blondell. All right, who remembers watching My Three Sons? In 1908, Fred MacMurray was born on this day. He's an American actor who played in several movies and TV series, most famously My Three Sons. Born in Illinois, he passed away 1991. All right, next we got a cool one. On this day in 1912, a lady by the name of Nancy Wake, Wake, was born, and she's a New Zealand-born World War II female secret agent with the Special Operations Executive. Born in Wellington, New Zealand, she passed away in 2011. Now, Nancy Wake was also known as the White Mouse. She was the Allies' most decorated woman during World War II, saving thousands of soldiers and eventually becoming the #1 most wanted person by the German Gestapo in 1943. Way to go, White Mouse. Next, we've got Baseball Hall of Famer Ted Williams, born on this day in 1918. Passed away in 2002. He's an American Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder, and he's the last player to bat over 400 in a single season. He's got 19 Major League Baseball All-Star, most valuable player, Triple Crown, but you name it. He was born in San Diego, California. This next person is a very important person in history in my books. On this day in 1919, Maurice R. Hilleman was born. He's an American microbiologist who developed over 36 vaccines, including measles, mumps, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, chickenpox, meningitis, pneumonia, and many more. He was born in Montana and passed away in 2005. Thank you, Maurice Hilleman. Next, we've got Angelo Dundee, born on this day, 1921. If that name sounds familiar, he was an American boxing trainer and cornerman for Muhammad Ali and 15 other world boxing champions. Angelo Dundee was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Next, we've got Warren Buffett celebrating his 93rd birthday. And where is he? There he is. Born in 1930, American business magnate, and he was at one time the world's wealthiest person in the year 2008. Born in Omaha, Nebraska. Next, born on this day was John Phillips, born in 1935, the singer and guitarist for the Mamas and the Papas. California Dreaming, you'll remember that song. He passed away in 2001. This next one made me laugh here. Born on this day in 1941 is Ben Jones. They have him listed here as an American politician and actor. A lot of them do that. But he was known as Cooter Davenport in The Dukes of Hazzard. Born in North Carolina. All right. Next, we've got on this day in 1943, Jean-Claude Killy, French alpine skier, 3 Olympic gold in 1968, born in Paris, France. I remember back in the day, Jean-Claude Killy, man, and skiing, that's all you heard. Very good athlete. All right, next. Who remembers Peggy Lipton from the Mod Squad? She's celebrating her 77th birthday today. Born in 1946. She was also in Twin Peaks, which I had no clue because I've never watched that, but apparently she was. Born in New York City, New York. Next, we've got everyone's favorite Belarusian president, Alexander Lukashenko, celebrating his 69th birthday. He was born today in 1954. He's the first and only president of Belarus. Oh, boy. He was born in the Soviet Union. He's the one who took in Wagner, the Wagner mercenary group there. All right, next we've got Cameron Diaz celebrating 51 years today. Born in 1972. She's an American actress known for voicing the movie Shrek, in the movie The Mask, My Best Friend's Wedding, and Kill Bill. Or was that Cameron? No, that was other movies. Sorry. Born in Long Beach, California. So that's everyone that I have on my list for famous people's birthday today in history. Do you have any questions, comments, or check-ins for tonight's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3CJZ.
VA3 NFG, portable.
VA3 NFG, portable. Steve, come on in, Steve.
Yeah, good evening, Chuck, and everybody on that list. No traffic here, Chuck. Did my 8 hours today. Got in the door a little late. But from about 7 p.m. until now, I've probably done 25, 30 photo contacts. So it was a good little amount in a short amount of time. Anyway, that's all I got, Chuck, for doing what you're doing there, and we'll pass it back to you to pick up any late check-ins or something like that. VA3 NFC portable.
All right, Steve. 25 or so contacts on POTA tonight. I am so jealous. Good for you. But you know what they say, the show must go on. So we'll have to do it another night, as far as I'm concerned, unless I can probably not get any POTA because they always quit around 10 o'clock, most of them. You'll get the odd one that'll go a little bit later, but we'll just keep doing what we're doing, slow and steady. Just recently got my 400 Parks award, so pretty stoked about that. So you're wavering a little bit in signal there, Steve, but you're roughly around S8, S9, and so thanks for checking in. Hey, listen, there's a big hurricane that went through Florida today. Tonight's question was, have you ever been in or near a major weather event of some sort?
No, not that I can say. Other than I've driven through many a storm there on the way back and forth from Toronto. Nope. Just good old cold country snowstorm. is average for us, but big storm for somebody from Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just reading an article today about how there's a movement that is the complete opposite of snowbirds. It's people that live down in like Texas and warm southern states that actually come up north to escape the heat. Normally, Canadians go south to escape the cold and find heat, and these guys are escaping the south to come north for some cooler weather. Mind you, we've had some summers where we had many over 30 degrees days, and so very comparable to Texas and Florida, and of course the Southwest, Arizona, and so on, but not quite. We don't reach 122 degrees Fahrenheit here very often. So, anyways, that's the new thing going around. All right, Steve. Well, thanks for checking in, sir. I do appreciate it, and we're right in the middle of doing on this day. So, do you have anything else for us before we carry on?
No, Chuck, that's about all for me at this time. I don't go in till 12 o'clock noon tomorrow, so I'll probably be hanging around for a couple hours yet, hunting. So probably hear you in there, or you'll hear me in there, or I'll be talking to you on ZOE. We've got a couple of actually confirmations to fix up from July 1st, Canada Day. So maybe we can get that straightened out later on. All right, Chuck, back to the net. pt3 portable. Keep it up. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, thanks for reminding me about that, there, Steve. Yeah, we'll try and clean that up a little bit later. Okay, thanks for checking in. So we'll clear with Victor Alpha 3, November Foxtrot Golf. And let's see if there's anyone else out there that'd like to check in with us here on our weekly amateur radio exchange group net. This is VA3CJZ looking for check ins. Please come now. Okay, nothing heard. So let's go back to our history. Who died today in history? We just did birthdays. Let's see who in history passed away. And on this day in 1938, we have Max Factor, who passed away. And that is the Polish-American makeup artist, inventor, and founder of cosmetics manufacturer Max Factor by the same name. Actually, it's called Max Factor and Company. He was 60 years old when he died in 1938. Next, we've got J.J. Thomson. He passed away on this day in 1940. He's an English physicist who discovered the electron. Very important. And he won the Nobel Prize in 1906. And he passed away in 1940 at the age of 83. Who doesn't like the Death Wish movies? The Magnificent Seven, The Dirty Dozen. Well, our next person is Charles Bronson. Sadly passed away on this day in 2003. He was 81 years old, and he's been in the movies I just mentioned, as well as many others. He was in The Great Escape as well. He was the tunnel rat. And he was always kind of the strong silent type. Didn't have very many talking lines, but he was good at action. All right, next we've got on this day in 2008, Walter Killer Kowalski. Now, I didn't know he was a Canadian, but Canadian professional wrestler. I remember watching him back in the days when Edward Carpentier, Don Leo Jonathan, and Killer Kowalski were top-notch wrestlers in their day. He passes away at the age of 81 in the year 2008. Who's ever seen the comic strip Marmaduke? Our next person is Brad Anderson, passing away on this day in 2015. He's an American cartoonist, and he was 91 years old. Next, we've got Wes Craven, passing away on this day in 2015. He's an American filmmaker, best known for A Nightmare on Elm Street and the movie Scream. And he dies at the age of 76. Next, we've got Franco Colombo, passing away on this day in 2019. You might remember Franco Colombo as an Italian bodybuilder, powerlifter, actor, and author. He was Mr. Olympia in 1976 and 1981, dies at the age of 78. He competed, I do believe, along the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno and many others. Next, we've got still in 2019 on this day, so as well as Franco Colombo, Valerie Harper passed away. She's an American actress, better known for The Mary Tyler Moore Show and her own show, Rhoda. So she was known as Rhoda on The Mary Tyler Moore Show. She dies of cancer at the age of 80. Our last person passing away in history is Mikhail Gorbachev. Passed away just last year on this day. He was the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. Dies after an unspecified, long, and grave illness at the age of 91. So with that, do we have any questions, comments, or anything anyone would like to add? Or just to check into our net? This is VA3CJZ.
Echo 3, Bravo, Mike, Oscar.
Hey, there he is, the man of the hour, Victor Echo 3, Bravo, Mike, Oscar. Are you on your way home, Pierre, or are you home now?
I am home already and parked for the evening.
Roger, Roger. Home and parked. Very good. Well, tell us all about your latest POTA outing. I was lucky enough to get you on 20 meters, and that's it. But how'd it go?
It was totally insane after 8 o'clock. I've never had pile-ups like this in my life. Well, since I've been doing the parks. I guess that's this year. Yeah, it was crazy. I couldn't even make out call signs. I had to say QRZ again. I didn't think that ever happened.
Well, I guess you're going to have to get that Rookie of the Year plaque there all shined up for you, and you'll have to proudly display that. So you're doing a great job there, Pierre. Too bad Kevin isn't as physically able to as often as he'd like to, but I'm sure he'd give you a good run for the money.
Yeah, I kind of wish he would, but it you got to kind of work with his limitation, but it's all good. When he gets out there, he'll start pounding them again. But, managed to get 162, Chuck.
Woo! One or two bands?
Two bands, 40 and 20.
162, you said?
Roger, Roger.
Wow, congratulations. That's and how much time did you spend doing that?
Probably 2.5 hours, 3 hours, something like that.
All right, very good. So were you able to keep people in check, or did it get crazy?
No, it actually, excuse me. It actually wasn't too bad. Got a little wobbly there once or twice. Straightened it out real quick. Just started calling CQ over them. Solves the issue, cleans it up.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. Very good. All right, then, Pierre, we'll let you take your meds, and thanks for checking in, sir.
Yeah, I'll probably hang around for a while because I know I have to work tomorrow, so I'll be listening along, Chuck. Victor Echo 3, Charlie, Juliet, Zulu, Victor Echo 3, Bravo, Mike, Oscar.
All right, very good. Close. It's Victor Alpha 3, but that's okay. We'll get you trained yet. Okay, well, is there anyone else out there that would like to join us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie, Juliet, Zulu.
VE3 LBI.
VE3 LBI. Come on in, Larry.
You might have had somebody else too, Chuck. Let them check first.
All right, was there another station in there? Please come now.
Is that LBI QRP?
Hey, nobody asked you. He's sitting back in the background there. You'll be called when it's your turn.
Sit down at the back of the bus.
Yeah, the big bus, the double-decker on the back end. All right. Anyways, no, nothing going on. Been messing around here, playing a little POTA. Got a challenge I'm trying to do, so I was listening along and doing some POTA at the same time.
Yeah. You and KKP is also missing in action.
Oh, by the way, did you happen to hear how much Bob Barker was worth when he passed away?
No, I didn't.
$70 million.
That's it?
$70 million. That's what he was. That's how much he had. Yep, when he passed away. $70 million.
Wow. I heard someone say that if you handed out a $1 bill to everybody, let's say there was a big lineup, 1 million people lining up, and you gave away a $1 bill to each person, it would take you 31 years. That's just for 1 million. So yeah, 70 million is quite a bit, and good for him. I always liked him. I thought he was great in the Adam Sandler movie there in the golfing scene. Knocks out Sandler. But anyways, yeah, what was he, 99 or something?
Yeah, he passed away at 99, yeah. And like they said, I wonder if the devil's gone. Come on down. But yeah, he's $70 million. Anyways, that's it, Chuck. I'm going to listen along till the end. Carry on, VE3 LBI. Mac, you be quiet.
Okay, nothing heard. Okay, are there any other last-minute check-ins for tonight's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3CJZ. Please come now.
Recheck VE3 LBI. Maybe I should explain that.
Go ahead.
Last night there was a POTA site I was trying to get, POTA activator I was trying to get into. He called for QRP. Mac got in before I did. So what I did was I dropped back to 5 watts, went QRP, and worked them.
Oh, okay. Very good then.
More of the story.
20 contacts with activators just on 5 watts. And of course, there's one fellow down in the States that always runs 5 watts or 4 watts. And I worked him at 1 watt. Just, I don't know. It was just one of those nights and just had some fun. So, yeah, I made 20 contacts to the activators with 5 watts on one night. It was kind of crazy, but I enjoyed it. So, anyways, all right, go ahead, Chuck. I thought I better explain what Mac was talking about. That's why he said QRP.
A little more of the story.
Go.
What's the rest of it?
Go ahead there, Mac.
Dial up, and I gave the southern station a Kilo Charlie 4 Bravo call, and it was Victor Alpha 3 India Mike Whiskey, and he picked me right up out of the log jam. I got in, and then Larry came back with turning down his power and doing that QRP thing. We both got in. methodology still worked out in both cases.
Okay, very good then, Mac. Thanks for giving your side of the story as well. Okay, anyone else with comments or questions? Please come now. VA3CJZ. Okay, then. So let's go back to on this day in history. And we're done with the people that were born and passed away. Now let's go to today's historical events. We'll start off in the year 1146. European leaders outlaw the crossbow, intending to end war for all time. We all know how that turned out, but nonetheless, 1146 was the year. All right, next we've got on this day in 1682, William Penn leaves England to sail to the New World. He's also the founder of the state of Pennsylvania in the New World. William Penn, hence the name Pennsylvania. All right, in 1791 on this day, the HMS Pandora sank after running aground on a reef the previous day on her return from her search for the Bounty, the tall sailing ship Bounty, and the mutineers who had taken her. All right, next we've got 1835 on this day. The city of Melbourne, Australia is founded. And then in 1850, Honolulu, Hawaii becomes a city on this day. 1860, the first British tram begins operating in Birkenhead. 1860. Okay, next we've got 1885 on this day. 13,000 meteors are seen in 1 hour near Andromeda. Wow. 13,000. How do you count that? 1888 now on this day. Lord Walsingham kills 1,070 grouse in a single day. I'll bet you he used more than one gun. Maybe he used one of those. You ever seen those huge duck guns? They're like 8 feet long, and they were outlawed, I think. It was to kill as many ducks as he could in one shot. I wonder what he used. Interesting. 1,000 grouse in one day. All right. Next, we've got 1890. In the year 1890, President Benjamin Harrison, never heard of him, but that's United States President Benjamin Harrison, signed the first U.S. law requiring inspection of meat products. Thank goodness. Thank you, Benjamin. Yeah, I wonder where we'd be without that. Yeah, they're talking about banning single-use plastics, right? And they were talking about that when it comes to meat, especially meat. It's going to be a problem trying to find something to replace that plastic. So without getting into politics, they got some work to do. Let's put it that way. All right, so let's go to 1901 now. On this day, English engineer Hubert Cecil Booth patents the powered vacuum cleaner. So remember in the 60s, there were traveling encyclopedia salesmen, and there were also vacuum salesmen going door to door. I'd rather haul a vacuum than a boatload of heavy encyclopedias. All right. Next, we've got Ty Cobb's debut. In 1905, on this day, Detroit Tigers future Baseball Hall of Fame center fielder Ty Cobb makes his Major League Baseball debut, doubling off of Jack Chesbrough in a 5-3 win over the New York Highlanders at Bennett Park, Detroit. So Ty Cobb makes his debut in 1905. Next year, in 1906, Hal Chase becomes first in New York Yankee history to hit 3 triples in a game. 3 triples in one game. Wow. Lucky guy. Or skillful and lucky. All right. Next, let's go to 1918 on this day. Czechoslovakia forms independent republic. 1918, right after World War I, it would appear. And then we have the assassination attempt of Lenin, not John Lennon. In 1918, Fania Kaplan attempts but fails to assassinate Lenin, the new leader of Soviet Russia. Next, we've got Babe Ruth being thrown out of a baseball game for the 5th time on this day in 1922. Okay, a little bit of history now. In 1939, on this day, Isoroku Yamamoto is appointed commander-in-chief of the Japanese fleet. He oversaw the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, which led the United States to enter the war. Let's go to 1945 now. Hong Kong is liberated from Japanese control. Remember, 3 weeks ago, I mentioned that the bomb fell on Hiroshima. That was August 6th or the 9th. So, of course, Japan is decimated and gives up, and they leave Hong Kong as well. And also in 1945, U.S. General Douglas MacArthur lands in Japan now that they have signed the surrender. Okay. Next, we've got 1954 on this day. The BC Lions play franchise's first CFL game in Vancouver, only to lose to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 1954, first game in Vancouver. Next, we've got 1956 on this day. Lake Pontchartrain Causeway opens in Louisiana. It's the longest continuous bridge in the world. And I don't know how long it is, but I've been on the 7 Mile Bridge in Florida. I wonder how big that one is. So that was in 1956. Let's go to 1960. East Germany imposes a partial blockade on West Germany. People woke up. Here it is. Oh no, that was a partial blockade, 1960. Now in 1963, a hotline communication link between the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. and the Kremlin in Moscow is installed, often known as the red telephone. No phones were ever used, relying instead on teletype equipment, fax machines, and most recently, secure email. So it looks like that red phone was never used. All right, 1968 on this day, the first record released on Apple label in the UK is the Beatles' single, Hey Jude. I used to love that song. All right, here we go. We're going to go now into the Summer of Love. And that was 1969. A lot happening then. Here we go. On this day, 1969, there's a 3-day New Orleans pop festival that opens, and 25,000 people attend. Performers include Spiral Staircase, Rex, The Byrds, Janis Joplin, Grateful Dead, Chicago, Dr. John, and Santana. And then we have Woodstock. Woodstock was also this month, actually, just 2 weeks previously, was the Woodstock Music and Art Fair. It took place on a farm property in Bethel, New York, August 15th to the 18th. So I just mentioned the 3-day New Orleans Pop Festival, and that's today, right? August 30th. So 2 weeks prior was the Woodstock Music and Art Fair from August 15th to the 18th, 1969. Woodstock was organized by 4 inexperienced promoters who managed to sign rock acts that included Jimi Hendrix, Sly and the Family Stone, The Who, and Grateful Dead, among many others. Now, also on this day, as well as, Woodstock was a couple of weeks previously, but on this day, there was that New Orleans Pop Festival. Well, there's also a 3-day Texas International Pop Festival that opens in Louisville, Texas. 125,000 people attend. Performers include Chicago, Transit Authority, Delaney and Bonnie and Friends, Grand Funk Railroad, Janis Joplin again, B.B. King, Led Zeppelin, Sly and the Family Stone, and Johnny Winter. Wow. Yeah, the Summer of Love. Okay, so that's it for 1969. Let's go to 1974 on this day. On this day, 1974, an express train runs at full speed into Zagreb, Yugoslavia rail yard, killing 153 people. Also, in 1974 on this day, is the launching of the first Dutch satellite called the ANS from Vandenberg Air Base. All right, next we've got film and TV history. 1976, on this day, Tom Brokaw starts as news anchor of NBC's The Today Show. Tom Brokaw. All right. So, speaking of hurricanes, on this day in 1979, actually, no, it says September 13th here. I was just going to say that it's not on this day, but it's in a couple of weeks from now. Hurricane David kills 1,200 in Florida, Dominicana, and Dominican Republic. Please stand by. I'll be right back. Okay, I do apologize for that momentary break, but here we are. We're back. Okay, here we go. All right, we're almost near the end here. Next, we've got 1979 on this day is the first recorded occurrence of a comet hitting the sun, and it releases the energy equal to 1 million hydrogen bombs. Woo! Let's jump to 1987 now. On this day, Ben Johnson of Canada runs the 100 meters in a world record 9.83 seconds. Now, I was a 100-meter record holder in high school, and I was just over the 10 mark. So, wow. Way to go, Ben Johnson. Let's go to 1993 now. On this day, The Late Show with David Letterman debuts on CBS. From the Ed Sullivan Theater in New York City, Bill Murray is his first guest, and Billy Joel performs. Okay, next we've got the NASA spacecraft Voyager 2 on this day in 2007. Crosses the termination shock, which is where the solar and interstellar winds meet. That is following Voyager 1 did it in 2004. So 3 years later, Voyager 2 also reaches that area. Next, we've got 2017. Hurricane Irma forms near Cape Verde Islands. Will go on to become a Category 5 hurricane and kill at least 102 people. And as mentioned earlier, Hurricane Idalia makes landfall in Florida, and it is considered a Category 3 hurricane making landfall today in Florida. That's today. All right, let's go to 2021. Algeria becomes the last country to stop selling leaded petrol, ending 99 years of gasoline use worldwide, saving 1.2 million lives a year. And still in 2021, on this day, America ends its longest ever war of 20 years in Afghanistan as the last military evacuation plane flies out of Kabul. And of course, we all know they left all their equipment behind, even helicopters. I mean, really? Again, no politics, but yeah, big mistake. And still in 2021, get this, China, this is our last one. China restricts online gaming for under 18-year-olds to 1 hour on Fridays, weekends, and holidays, ordering companies to enforce this. So there you go. Kids spending way too much time online gaming, and now they're mandated to limit that for anyone under 18. So interesting. All right. Do we have any comments, questions, or check-ins? We're near the end of the Amateur Radio Exchange Group net, but is there anyone out there? Please come now. All right. Well, that's it for On This Day in History. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did researching it and telling it all back to you today. The last one wasn't a funny one. I usually like to have a little bit of humor in there, but there were some of them that were a little bit humorous if you look in between the lines. Even the last one is a little bit humorous. So with that, let's quickly go down the list. It is 9:53 p.m., 16 degrees outside the CJZ studio. And let's go to the top. Number 1, VA3 IMW. What do you say, Mac?
A wonderful way to spend a Wednesday evening. Thanks for doing it, Chuck, and I'll be back here next week for the 30th anniversary. Looking forward to it. Victor Alpha 3 Indy Mike Whiskey. I'll be QSY to the Zeta repeater for a little bit.
All right. Very good. Very good. And it's garbage night for those of you in the east of Hamilton here. But I'll be doing that whenever I feel like it because it's summertime. Okay. Next, we've got Mike in Burlington. Don't know if he's still there, but let's give him a shout. VE3 KMQ. Next, we've got Wade in Dundas, VA3 November Charlie Alpha. Don't know if you're on YouTube or available on the radio. I forget now, but let's see if she's there.
Yeah, I'm sticking it out here, Chuck, 7-3, and thanks for doing it as usual. Looking forward to the 30th anniversary next week. Just one quick thing. I think maybe I'll add a 3.5 people for the blizzard of 77. I was living in Newmarket at the time, but I was only 5, and I don't know that I remember myself directly, but what I do remember very clearly is we had a family photo of me and my brother in our one-piece snowsuits up on top of a very, very tall snowdrift that was run right up the, I don't know, maybe 70s were a different time, but seemed dangerously close to the overhead wires to let kids playing on snowbanks. But nonetheless, that's the picture we have in the family of me and my brother up there in our snowsuits. So that was the blizzard of 77 in Newmarket. So with that, I'll say 7-3, and I'll send it back to you. Thanks again for doing it. VA3NCA, back to you.
Okay, there you go. So it's the numbers are climbing for the blizzard of 77. All right, very good, Wade. Thank you, sir, for joining us and sticking around. As always, a pleasure. VA3NCA. Let's see if Gary is still with us. VE3 Juliet Golf Kilo. No last words? Okay, Gary. Let's go to PDL. Let's see if Paul remembered to turn up the volume on his radio. VE3 Papa Delta Lima. All right, let's go to Anti-Chuck. VE3 Zulu Juliet Charlie. All right, next we've got Michael, KI5 Sierra Papa Alpha. Thanks for joining us, Michael. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and come back next week when we celebrate the 30-year anniversary of the AREG net, and hope to have you and everyone else stop by and say hi. As well, Bill, VE3IUK, who checked in with us on YouTube. Thank you, Bill. Much appreciated your check-in through the YouTube. And next we've got Chris, VE3RWJ. He did say he would listen for a while on the YouTube stream, but let's see if he's by his radio. VE3RWJ. Chris, are you there? All right, sticking to the West End, let's go to VA3, Obey Your Leader. Debbie, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Good net, Chuck. Thanks for all your information. It was interesting. Keep up the good work and look forward to next week. I may be late coming into next week, but hopefully I will be here. So I'll say 7-3 and catch you on the airwaves somewhere.
Absolutely. I hear you once in a while there, Deb, getting a couple of POTAs in there. So, yeah, we'll catch you down the log for sure. So let's go to Flynn, see if he's still around. VE3FJJ, last call, Flynn. Let's see if Vanya's still with us. Victor Alpha 3, X-Ray, Lima, Juliet. Okay, let's go to last call for Victor Alpha 3, Mike Romeo Bravo. He was in the mobile earlier. Are you still there, Mike? Okay, let's go to our pad, VE3 November Whiskey. He was on his scooter heading back down from his perch. Let's see if he can, if he's got his radio on. All right, well, let's try Chris then. VA3CKZ. Chris, last call. Okay, how about Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Oscar Foxtrot? Damien, last call.
Yeah, still hanging in here, and yeah, 73, and thanks for the net tonight.
Okay, Damien, absolutely, sir. Thank you for sticking around and for checking in. A pleasure, as always. Join us next week as well for the 30th anniversary. I don't know if I think Thomas has gone to bed. VE3 Charlie Echo Uniform. Victor Alpha 3 November Foxtrot Golf. Steve, last call. All right, how about Pierre, VE3 BMO?
Victor Echo 3 Bravo Mike Oscar.
All right, Pierre is still there, alive and kicking. Right on. Okay, Pierre, thanks for sticking around. Any last words?
Nope, just thanks for doing that there, Chuck, and thanks for hunting me down at the parks and everybody else. If anybody else is still out here other than you and I. But yeah, I'm going to bounce over to ZOE too. If you're still up, see you there. And thanks again, Chuck. 7-3. VA3 CJZ, VE3 BMO. 7-3.
Okay, Pierre, 7-3. And that brings us to VE3 Lima Bravo India. Any last words, Larry?
No, just listening along there, and I just heard Mr. Polite before me, so, oh yeah, he's always so polite. I'm like, Pierre, you don't have to be so polite. Just 7-3, get out of here.
Isn't that awesome?
I know, you must have it recorded or something, because it's always like, just go through this routine or something. It's like, I'm like, just get her done.
Again.
All right, Pierre. Good to catch you there. All right, nothing else, Chuck. Had to tease Pierre a little bit there. So, anyways, good net. I caught last part of it there, and some of the stuff was interesting. So, some of the time frames were in my era, my birth area. Let's put it that way. So, it was kind of interesting.
God bless, Larry.
Oh yeah, bite me.
Well, there's nothing wrong with trying out for the Mr. Congeniality Award. Absolutely. And what else? Oh, Larry, I don't know if I asked you the question of the night about it's in relation to the hurricane that landed in Florida. And have you been in or near a major weather event? So far, we've got 4 people that said the blizzard of 77.
Probably, well, actually, there was one very close to us, actually. Don't ask me the era. There was one up here just off of Sherman that came through. It was a tornado. The only one I was in, we were actually camping, and it was quite a heavy wind that came through. We were at, I can't think of it, a park. Anyways, it's a little bit of it's like a peninsula, the park, down towards Leamington, Windsor area. On Lake Erie, and we had a storm come through there, Chuck, and I had a tarp up, a good 20 by 40 tarp over top of the trailer, just to keep the rain off, because it was raining off and on. Anyways, when the wind came through, it actually broke loose one of the ends, and I went out to resecure it. When it did, the wind caught me, and it actually picked me up off the ground.
Wow. Yeah, that wind, like I said, you don't see it, but it's strong. That reminds me, in the mid 90s, I think, there was a tornado that went through Hamilton. Renata and I were down on the beach down by Berenga's, and I noticed the sky getting, black, okay? And it was heading towards us. And I told Renata, let's head indoors. And we went inside Berenga's. And as soon as we got inside, the power went out. And of course, we heard on the news later that a tornado had touched down in Hamilton. And I forget what it wiped out. It wiped something out, but a lot of things are being blown around for sure. So that's another event I've been through. Wow. Okay, Larry. Anything else, sir?
No, the closest I've been to a tornado was actually, we were camping at Pioneers Conservation Area, and we were right there when the sky actually changed in the colors. It went green, and there was a fellow there who was a volunteer fireman. Anyways, he kind of yelled at everybody. We headed to the washrooms, which were all brick and everything. But the sky just changed green. It actually did touch down and do some damage just outside of Paris. It was kind of crazy too. Anyways, that's it, Chuck. All right, let you go. Thanks for doing it, and have a what time is it? Oh, it's 5 after. Gotta let you go. All right, 7-3. Get your garbage out, or whatever you gotta do first, and get the garbage out. 7-3 for now. VE3. I'll be back.
Okay, very good, Larry. Thanks for sharing. So let's see now. It's 10:05, but let's see if there are any last-minute check-ins for this week's Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3 CJZ. Please come now.
VE3X. VE3EIR.
All right, I got 2 check-ins in there. I've got VE3XKV and VE3EIR. Let's say hello to Bob. VE3XKV. Come on in, Bob.
Okay, Chuck. I don't know if who else can hear me, but you know where I am, and just listening in the background, in and out of the picture, you know. And so the best part, of course, was Canadian history. I think everybody else has supported this show the best. So we have been entertained. And as always, Chuck, an excellent job.
Okay, Bob. Yeah. You're making the trip. I've got you at an S7, a little bit of noise. But those who are listening on the YouTube stream can pick you up. Bob is on a portable handheld, and he's not at home, not feeling well. Let's put it that way. And so thank you for checking in, Bob. You know, my thoughts are with you and the missus. Hope she's doing well.
Well, I'm a lucky guy because she's in here every day feeding me goodies, so I don't know what I'd do without her, Chuck. So, and keep up the good work, everybody.
All right, thanks, buddy. That's why they call them soulmates. Kind of hard to do without them. Very good, Bob. All right, please say hi to Janice for me. And let's go to Don, which we haven't heard in a while. VE3EIR. Come on in, Don.
Yeah, hi, Chuck. I'm just making sure that the radio is working for the big 30th anniversary next week. And you can give me a report, and then we'll let you go.
All right. Don, welcome back. And you're coming in same as Bob, S7. Your audio is a wee bit stronger than Bob's because, well, he's on a handheld. And so, yeah, doing a good job there, Don. And we're going to try and get a hold of John, VE3JSU, tomorrow. And we'll see if we can make arrangements for him to join us at least on the YouTube stream. If not, maybe somebody would be kind enough to do the phone call thing over the air. But it'd be too much for me to personally handle doing that, doing the net, the cameras, the check-ins. And so it'd be nice if someone else can do that. But I'll talk to John first, and we'll see what we can come up with. So thanks for checking in, Don.
Okay, 7-3, Chuck.
All right, 7-3. We are running a little bit into overtime here on the AREG net. But let's see if there are any stragglers wanting to come in to the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3CJZ. Please come now. All right. And we also have Wayne B. That's Victor Alpha 3, Fox Mike Bravo, joining us on YouTube. Good evening, Wayne. You'll have to come and join us next week where we celebrate the 30 years of AREG being on once a week. And for those of you who don't know, it takes 16, what are we at today? It takes 1,564 weeks to equal 30 years. So tonight is week 1563. And so with that, I'm going to say thank you to all that joined us tonight. And I look forward to hearing from you again next week. And as you know, next week will be a special edition of the AREG Net. Hope to hear you all there. And this is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu, signing off, saying 7-3. Have a great rest of the week. And now return the frequency back to regular operation. Thanks again. Good night.